Chapter 7, Dakin's News. Lin Jufeng's sword cut across the numerous yards. Like the first ray of light cutting through the darkness at dawn, it lit up the cold palace. The two Golden Core Realm cultivators from the Chasing Corpse sect were both a little stronger in cultivation realm than Lin Jufeng, but they were still not a match for his sword. Sword 22 was not a mortal sword technique, it involved the great Tao of heaven and earth. Especially the last move, similarly named Sword 22. It was powerful enough to kill people thousands of miles away without being seen. The two were decapitated by the stroke. Blood flowed everywhere and they fell to the ground, dead. They died without even knowing who it was that attacked them. Lin Jufeng also arrived. He looked at the two bodies, paying special attention to certain places that were specially marked, lost in thought. Were the ancestors of the Chasing Corpse sect buried deep underground here? According to them, the sect master of the Chasing Corpse sect will only reappear in 10 years after a breakthrough. Does that mean that I can dig out the ancestor of the Chasing Corpse sect right now without repercussions? Lin Jufeng had a sudden curious thought. Do you want to sign in before the 1,000-year-old underground corpse? Suddenly, a line of words appeared in front of Lin Jufeng's eyes, stunning him. There is a 1,000-year-old corpse buried deep underground. Lin Jufeng's heart pounded. But his mouth did not remain idle. Sign in, Lin Jufeng said. Sign in successful. Received Netherworld Corpse Control Technique. Then, a massive amount of memories was transmitted into Lin Jufeng's mind. He instantly comprehended every secret of the technique. With the technique, one would be able to control corpses and nurture a brand new soul in the corpse. It would then awaken and follow the orders of the one who used the technique on the corpse. This was a very powerful technique, considering the fact that it was able to nurture a brand new soul within a corpse and inherit everything from the corpse. After Lin Jufeng confirmed his understanding of the technique, he acted decisively and started digging. Supported by his golden core cultivation base, he quickly dug down tens of meters underneath and soon saw a coffin. It was a copper coffin covered with various corpse refining array drawings for the purpose of refining this 1,000-year-old corpse. But the 1,000-year-old corpse was in the cold palace. It could not get any nourishment from the blood of the living. The Chasing Corpse sect did not dare to approach this area after the Yuha God dynasty built their imperial capital here, as they were afraid of alerting the dynasty to their existence. For the past century, the corpse in the copper coffin had been in a state of deep sleep. It had never gone out of its sleeping place. However, it was slowly becoming stronger. Lin Jufeng brought the copper coffin out, filled the pit, and returned to his yard. In the courtyard, the copper coffin sat quietly. Moonlight shone on it and its surface glowed with a metallic luster. He opened the copper coffin and saw a middle-aged man lying in it. His face was pale, with no trace of blood beneath his skin. He lay there, quietly. Lin Jufeng used the Netherworld Corpse controlling technique and began to infuse his energy into the body. Incubate slowly, create a new soul in this corpse, and control it. This way, my hard work will not be wasted, Lin Jufeng said as he looked at the copper coffin. He had been busy all night with the endeavor, but fortunately, he had the dust-free suit with him. Otherwise, he would have been covered with filth all over his body. Lin Jufeng covered the copper coffin and placed it in a corner of the room. He observed slowly, and curiously for the born of the new soul from within. Then, he continued to sign in and cultivate daily, while ignoring external affairs. In a flash, another 3 months passed. In these 3 months, his brother, the 6th prince, never once returned. He must be very busy. Lin Jufeng heard about that from Dakin. Dakin still came every 7 days to deliver food and chat with Lin Jufeng. Most of the time, Dakin talked and Lin Jufeng listened. Dakin would tell Lin Jufeng of the interesting things that happened in the imperial capital. And Lin Jufeng would listen to everything Dakin said. He would sometimes give a simple reply as he ate. Afterwards, he would always return to his cultivation. After 3 months, his cultivation rose once again. From the inner core level of the Golden Core realm, he advanced to the True Core level. He was also just one step away from the next level of the Golden Core realm. Lin Jufeng was also finally able to see some changes on the corpse of the ancestor of the chasing corpse sect that he had been reanimating using the netherworld corpse controlling technique in the past 3 months. His face was no longer pale like a dead man. There were signs of blood flowing within and his complexion had turned rosy. His stiff joints had become supple, and more importantly, a terrifying power could be felt within his body. The netherworld corpse controlling technique was evidently working. Lin Jufeng would take a look at him every few days, and then he spent the rest of the time working hard on cultivating. Another week passed and Dakin arrived once more. He brought wine and food as always, and they were as delicious as ever. Of course, he chatted with Lin Jufeng. On the other side of the main doors of the cold palace, Dakin leaned against the wall and talked. On the opposite side of the wall, Lin Jufeng picked up the wine glass, took a sip of wine and a bite of food as he enjoyed the meal. Then, he listened to Dakin talk about various things. There were important matters and small matters, trivial issues, and personal stories. Dakin liked to talk and Lin Jufeng was willing to listen, so they formed a harmonious pair. Your Highness, I may be a little busy lately. If I can't come next time, I will ask a friend to deliver your food. When I'm finished with what I have to do, I will send wine and food to your Highness again, Dakin said with an honest smile. Lin Jufeng was taken aback, and asked, Are you not just a small soldier in the uniformed royal guard? Why are you so busy? This was the imperial capital, the uniformed royal guards shouldn't be too busy. Recently, many masters of cultivation have come to the imperial capital. There are Taoist cultivators, demonic cultivators, Buddhist cultivators and even masters from overseas. His Royal Highness, the 6th Prince, has taken over the uniformed royal guards, mobilizing us, and greatly increasing the capital's defense measures. We have to keep the public order of the imperial capital, and catch the wicked people who have no qualms about doing evil, Dakin explained. Lin Jufeng frowned. He immediately remembered what those 2 people had said from 3 months ago. A senior from a demonic sect was going to assassinate the current emperor, Lin Jufeng's father. Although Lin Jufeng knew about it, he didn't take any other actions. He was only in the Golden Core realm and couldn't possibly meddle in such things. Thus, he didn't care and simply continued signing in peacefully. 3 months had passed since then and everything remained peaceful. Lin Jufeng hadn't heard that His Majesty was assassinated. As a result, Lin Jufeng thought that the matter was simply fake. But hearing Dakin's words, he suddenly remembered the words of those 2 people. Dakin, be careful when you are on duty outside. Don't try too hard. Your cultivation level is not high. Don't get involved in a conflict with those in the cultivation world, Lin Jufeng said solemnly. Dakin had constantly brought him food for more than 3 years and chatted with him for the same amount of time. Lin Jufeng didn't want anything bad to happen to him. According to Dakin, it wasn't only the people from the various demonic sects that were here. Those that hailed from the various Taoist and Buddhist sects were also here. On top of that, a lot of overseas cultivators were also present. The presence of these people made things more complicated. It was best if Dakin didn't get involved. Thank you, Your Highness, for your concern. However, I'm just guarding the palace and will definitely not encounter trouble. This is the safest place in the imperial capital. I'm just afraid that I will not be able to deliver food when it's time to because I might be on duty, so I'm telling you in advance. Dakin smiled. Lin Jufeng thought for a while. Then, with a flick of his finger, a sliver of sword energy pierced Dakin's body through the wall. Dakin didn't notice it. The sword energy would not cause him any harm, but it would let Lin Jufeng know when Dakin's life was in danger. We have known each other for 3 years. No matter what, I don't want you to be in danger. I will definitely protect you. Lin Jufeng liked Dakin's honest and serious attitude. It was just a simple order from the deputy commander of the uniformed royal guards. Yet, he had diligently sent good food to Lin Jufeng, who had already been banished to the cold palace. This delivery stint lasted 3 years and he had neither missed a delivery nor thought of receiving a reward. In everyone's opinion, what could a prince who has been banished into the cold palace do and hope for? However, Lin Jufeng only cared about 2 people in the entire Yuha God dynasty. Dakin and the Sixth Prince. Dakin left with the sliver of sword energy that Lin Jufeng planted in his body. Lin Jufeng resumed signing peacefully. He was now at the third level of the Golden Core realm, the True Core level. The Golden Core realm consisted of the False Core, Inner Core, True Core, and the final level, Golden Core. Lin Jufeng was close to breaking through to the Golden Core level. He silently continued his signing in for the core condensing pills, accumulating them as much as he could while cultivating for as long as he could. He truly enjoyed his undisturbed peace. Every few days, he would check the chasing corpse sect's old ancestor. He was glowing more and more in the coffin. His cheeks were rosier, skin fairer, and his face seemed to have become more handsome. His aura, dignified and elegant. It seems that a new soul is about to be born. The Netherworld corpse control technique is finally having some results. Lin Jufeng nodded, satisfied. Soon, he would have a terrifying henchman. 1,000-year-old corpse buried deep underground in a place of extreme negative energy. At the same time, the corpse was the chasing corpse sect's old ancestor. With these factors added up, Lin Jufeng was simply going against the heavens. Of course, he would only be able to know just how powerful this corpse was when it woke up. Lin Jufeng continued his routine of signing in. Day after day. His cultivation also improved quietly. Until the 7th day after Dakin left. On this day, Lin Jufeng was waiting for Dakin to bring some food and wine. But the person who came was not Dakin, but his younger brother, the current crown prince, Sixth Prince instead. "Why are you here?" Lin Jufeng asked curiously as the doors of the cold palace slowly opened. The Sixth Prince walked in. This was the cold palace, not just anyone could come in. The last time the Sixth Prince came, he had to beg his father just to meet Lin Jufeng once. "Big brother, I am now the supervising crown prince, I hold more power now." The Sixth Prince smiled, carrying delicious delicacies in one hand and a jar of good wine in the other. Right on the steps of the cold palace gate, this supervising crown prince set up the wine and food, then looked at Lin Jufeng with a smile. "What happened? You have just become the crown prince and now you're supervising the state?" Lin Jufeng asked curiously. Lin Jufeng couldn't help but think about his past self. He had been a crown prince for over 10 years, yet he never had the chance to take on the responsibility of managing the state. This Sixth Prince only became the crown prince for God knows how long, yet he was already supervising the state. "Big brother, the imperial capital is filled with demonic cultivators combining their forces and gathering together. They put up a slogan, saying that on the night of the full moon, a sword would appear from the west on the top of the Forbidden City, to kill father." The Sixth Prince said solemnly. A frown appeared on Lin Jufeng's usually calm face. He asked curiously, "A royal sacrifice? The old freaks in the royal family are not taking action." "They did. They have the major demonic experts under control. But the ones that are here to assassinate father are not the head and leaders of those demonic cultivators. It's a 1,000-year-old demon Dao ancestor." The Sixth Prince sighed. 1,000-year-old demon Dao ancestor. He has a grudge against the current emperor. Lin Jufeng asked, puzzled. "That demon Dao ancestors sect is called the Among Flowers sect. They have been around for 1,000 years. The first demonic sect that our father exterminated after he ascended the throne was the Among Flowers sect." The Sixth Prince explained. Lin Jufeng immediately searched through his memories. The Among Flowers sect truly was a despicable sect whose agenda was kidnapping beautiful women and doing unspeakable things to them. Their actions had angered the young emperor and he ordered a holy decree, sending 100,000 troops to crush the Among Flowers sect. Among Flowers sect deserved it. They asked for it, Lin Jufeng said. But the devil will never reason with anyone. They have sent a message to say that the next full moon night will be the day that father dies, the Sixth Prince said helplessly. "Is he very powerful?" Lin Jufeng asked curiously. "Well, he's already in the martial sage realm," the Sixth Prince replied. Lin Jufeng frowned. Martial sage realm, he would indeed be difficult to handle. Big brother also knows that the emergence of a grandmaster in this era is already something worthy of a great celebration, not to mention a martial sage. Not a single martial sage has appeared in 1,000 years. Now, this demon has broken through to the martial sage. After he comes out from seclusion, he would definitely do something big, and that is, to assassinate the emperor of the top imperial dynasty of the world. The sixth prince drank a cup of wine, depressed. That's why you became the supervising crown prince. In case anything happens to father, you will immediately be able to succeed to the throne and stabilize the Yuha God dynasty. Lin Jufeng guessed the plans of his father, whom he got after his transmigration. His Majesty would do his best to prevent his own death. But even if the other party succeeded, the supervising crown prince would instantly ascend to the throne to stabilize the Yuha God dynasty and prevent its downfall. Big brother, I don't know when I'd be able to come and visit you the next time. I will become very busy. Let's toast each other as brothers. The sixth prince lifted his glass of wine. He suppressed all the depressing thoughts in his heart and smiled. Lin Jufeng lifted his wine cup and had a drink with this brother of his. When is the next full moon night? Lin Jufeng asked. 7 days later, the sixth prince said after being silent for a moment. There were several grand masters in the Yuha God dynasty, but no martial sages. The old ancestor from the Among Flowers sect was probably the only martial sage in the Yuha God dynasty. That was probably the reason why so many demonic cultivators flocked to the imperial capital. They must be thinking that the death of the emperor of the Yuha God dynasty would signal the rise of the demonic sects. The Yuha God dynasty invited the various Taoist and Buddhist sects to the imperial capital to ask for their help. Lin Jufeng stayed in the cold palace all day and had no idea that in the outside world, the entire world had their eyes on the Yuha God dynasty. Each of them that knew the inner workings were silently counting down. 7 days later, on the night of the full moon, a sword would appear from the west in the Forbidden City. The sixth prince was obviously distressed. After finishing a jar of wine with Lin Jufeng, he got up and left. But before he left, he hugged Lin Jufeng after a moment of silence. After a while, he left in a hurry. His back was now straight, radiating composure befitting to that of his status. The next time they meet, it could possibly be when he was already the ruler of this divine dynasty. Boom! The door of the cold palace closed once again. Lin Jufeng looked at the cold door quietly before walking around the courtyard. 7 days. Lin Jufeng mumbled. He couldn't help but look toward the copper coffin in the room. Would the 1,000-year-old ancient corpse in the coffin wake up within the next 7 days? Time slowly passed. Lin Jufeng continued to toil in silence. Signing in and cultivating. This was his routine. The only thing that changed in his routine was the frequency of his glances at the 1,000-year-old corpse inside the coffin. He used to look at it once every few days. Now, he looked at it a few times a day. On the 7th day, Lin Jufeng surpassed the true core level and achieved the golden core level of the golden core realm. But he did not feel happy at all. Because today would be the night of the full moon, the same night when those group of demonic cultivators would start their rampage. As for the sword coming from the west on top of the Forbidden City, would the Yuha God dynasty be able to stop it? During the day, the people in the imperial capital did not go out so much. The entire imperial capital was filled with demonic cultivators on a rampage. People from the demonic sects rejoiced with wild excitement. To them, the demon Tao would rule the world. In the evening, the entire Forbidden City was heavily guarded. The atmosphere was gloomy. Everyone waited for the moment when the moon was the roundest. And in the cold palace, Lin Jufeng looked at the 1,000-year-old corpse in the copper coffin. At this moment, it slowly opened its eyes. Master. The elegant middle-aged man stood up and shouted respectfully. Lin Jufeng smiled slightly and said, "Come, leave the cold palace with me." Lin Jufeng, who was locked up in the cold palace, left for the first time in 4 years. He brought along with him his henchmen and headed for the Forbidden City. Tonight was a full moon. Tonight was a full moon. The entire Forbidden City was shrouded in a nervous atmosphere. The Imperial Guards strictly protected the palace grounds, but the people from the various demonic sects were still present, spying from the surroundings. Inside the Forbidden City, the Taoist and Buddhists silently awaited the arrival of the Among Flowers sect's martial sage in the Imperial Shrine. The centermost palace was desolate. The current, reigning emperor sat quietly on the throne. There wasn't a single person around. All of a sudden, a human figure walked in from the outside. It was the sixth prince. Father, we are already heavily guarded. The 6 great Grand Masters have taken their places, we're just waiting for that fanatic from the demonic sects. You'd better take cover, the sixth prince urged. I am the emperor of the Yuha God dynasty. If I am not to be in this central hall, where would I hide? The emperor said placidly. He had no intentions of escaping. Father, if by any chance, the sixth prince said solemnly. Don't we still have you? The emperor looked at the sixth prince and said with satisfaction. Originally, your older brother was doing the best job in your position, but he was momentarily obsessed with lust and went on a crooked path. But your appearance has put me at ease. Today, there will only be an emperor that died standing up and no emperor that escaped. We have set up a waiting trap. If those demons dared to come, my Yuha God dynasty will fight to the death with them. The emperor solemnly declared. The sixth prince wanted to say something more, but the emperor waved his hand. Take your leave. Go to the imperial shrine, they will protect you well. You are the hope of the Yuha God dynasty. Nothing must happen to you. If he were to escape and the demonic cultivators turned to slaughter because they couldn't find him, it would be bad for the whole imperial household. He might as well quietly wait here. In any case, he was already suffering from a foul disease and his days were numbered. Child, in today's world, one must still be powerful enough. Otherwise, even if you were royalty, it wouldn't make any difference. The emperor advised in a low voice. The sixth prince left, the emperor was now alone. Watching the arrival of the starry sky and full moon, his countenance was determined and his gaze was ice cold. Gathering the strength of the entire Yuha God dynasty to counter the top martial sage of the present age. When the full moon arrived, a demonic aura billowed in the air above the forbidden city. Countless members of the demon sect were cheering, running about, and letting out mad howls as they encircled the forbidden city. The demonic cultivators reveled. Clang! In the full moon sky, a sword shadow appeared. Following that, a frightening presence came weighing down. Everything beneath the skies was trembling. The moonlight was beautiful, condensed into a stretch of shining silk that slid down. An aged figure landed with it. A head full of white hair with a baleful countenance, he carried with him an extremely terrifying might. With a longsword in hand, the sword slashed through the sky. Emperor of the Yuha God dynasty, you destroyed my Among Flowers sect's legacy. Get out here and meet your death. Among Flowers, Patriarch looked towards the central hall with an aloof gaze. As for the others, he didn't acknowledge them at all, including the 6 great Grand Masters. Demon, do not be rude. The Yuha God dynasty is not a place for you to be impudent. The Yuha God dynasty stands upright even in the present age, with jurisdiction over hundreds of millions of people. How can it be something that you, a measly demon, can destroy? The Yuha God dynasty's great Grand Masters have come forth to kill you. Shouts came from all directions. The 6 great Grand Masters of the Yuha God dynasty acted together. Without holding anything back, their blood and vital energies surged, vital essence fumes shot into the sky, they surely were powerful. 6 people came charging from 6 directions and surrounded this Among Flowers sect's patriarch. Great Grand Masters. Among Flowers, Patriarch only smiled at them in disdain. The gap between a martial sage and a great Grand Master cannot be crossed with you people shouting some slogans. The Among Flower sect's patriarch was extremely contemptuous. He delivered a strike, and as if the skies had fallen, the swift and fierce sword shadow shrouded these 6 great Grand Masters. Thump, thump, thump. The 6 great Grand Masters simultaneously spat out large mouthfuls of blood from the strike. In an instant, they suffered severe injuries and were sent crashing into the palace. On their faces were looks of despair as they came crashing down. Even the joint effort of 6 great Grand Masters could not withstand one strike from the Among Flowers sect's patriarch. A martial sage was this terrifying. When the people of the Yuha God dynasty and its court officials of all ranks saw this scene, their hearts fell into despair. They stared at one another. This demon was so powerful. He arrived stepping on the moonlight and smashed 6 great Grand Masters with one strike. Who exactly would be able to restrain him? There was someone who said with gritted teeth, "Is this the heavens wanting to annihilate my Yuha god dynasty?" Raising his eyes, he saw the people from the various Taoist and Buddhist sects. All of them had helpless looks on their faces as they looked at the patriarch of the Among Flowers sect. This was not a battle between equals. Standing on the tallest roof of the Forbidden City, every move of the Among Flowers patriarch attracted the attention of millions. People of the demon sect were cheering, laughing rampantly, wishing they could be dancing. Some had even charged into the Forbidden City and bowed in worship to this martial sage of the demonic sects. People in the entire Yuha god dynasty had gone mute. Witnessing this scene, they felt a sense of powerlessness all over their bodies. The emperor in the central hall sighed and closed his eyes, feeling weak throughout. The trap that they had set up ended up useless against this martial sage from the demonic sects. Even the imperial guards guarding the palace were in despair as they watched the figure that appeared slightly hunchbacked beneath the moonlight. This martial sage of the demonic sects had single-handedly suppressed the entire Yuha god dynasty. Dakin was guarding a side gate of the Forbidden City alone. It was very remote, no demonic cultivator had come over to this place. He watched the Among Flowers patriarch dazedly with a fully downcast look. Who can defeat him? Looking at it in the short term, no one could defeat this patriarch of the Among Flowers sect. The Yuha god dynasty was about to undergo a great upheaval. Da da da. All of a sudden, footsteps rang out. Someone was here. Dakin curiously lifted his head for a look. This was an extremely remote area, but someone still deliberately came here. Under the shine of the moonlight, a youth with outstanding features walked over with a middle-aged man who looked aloof from head to toe. Dakin asked in surprise, "Your Royal Highness, why have you left the cold palace?" The person who had come was Lin Jufeng. He pointed calmly and answered, "I've come to defeat him." Dakin looked over following Lin Jufeng's finger, he was pointing at the Among Flowers patriarch. Dakin blinked and said, "Your Royal Highness, your cultivation has been crippled for over 4 years now, you'd better not get involved. If you return now, I'll pretend that I haven't seen anything." Lin Jufeng smiled placidly and said, "Then, watch properly. Nameless, can you defeat him?" Lin Jufeng was speaking to the patriarch of the Chasing Corpse sect behind him. Through the sacrificial refinement of the Netherworld corpse control technique, a new soul had been born for him. The patriarch accepted everything before him, including his cultivation realm. Lin Jufeng did not know his previous name, so he simply gave him a new name. Nameless. Master, 1,000 years ago, this Among Flowers patriarch was already my defeated opponent, Nameless said indifferently. Lin Jufeng ordered, "Go then, kill him and this matter would be over." With a tap of his toes, Nameless's body became akin to an arrow that had left the bow. He reached the highest rooftop of Forbidden City in no time. Boom. Right as every one of the Yuha god dynasty was in despair, an extremely vast martial sage aura arrived. Formidable and mighty, it instantly cleansed the demonic aura in the area before it directly faced the aura of the Among Flowers patriarch. Everyone in the Yuha god dynasty was surprised. This is a martial sage. Is this a martial sage of my Yuha god dynasty? It turns out that the Among Flowers patriarch isn't the only martial sage in the world. Great, this is great, my Yuha god dynasty also has a martial sage. The emperor in the central hall commented in surprise. My Yuha god dynasty does not have a martial sage. Could it be that a certain elder had made a breakthrough but intentionally concealed himself? Nameless's arrival kindled hope in all the civil and military officials of the Yuha god dynasty, including the present emperor. And before the remote palace gate, Dakin looked at Lin Jufeng. His eyes blinked innocently. "Your Royal Highness, this person," Dakin asked with a dry mouth. He watched Lin Jufeng and seemed like he had come to an understanding about a terrifying matter. This dethroned crown prince actually has a martial sage under him. Wasn't this too frightening? Will I be silenced by His Highness?